on these really, really hot days, if we pump too much fertilizer and water to them, they will grow too fast. And yet you don't want them to shut down and quit growing, and there are some years where it's really hard to grow good potatoes. This happened to be one of them. Really hot days are not the greatest friend of a potato grower, or any crop actually. We don't like it getting really, really hot. But if that potato shuts down, if it gets starved a little bit, if it has a little blip here in its consumptive use, if it, say the center pivot breaks down for 4 or 5 days, it doesn't get watered, well, then the potato starts to shut down. It says, well, I can quit growing, I'll mature. But it's not time for it to mature yet. And the water comes back on, then it leaves a blemish in the potato. It'll be a nice tuber, and it'll have a little dip in its growth stage. So all of a sudden you get a potato that looks like this. And they grow from one end to the other. And so this is when it was stressed, was when at this point in its stage. Or it'll send a knob off to the side, do some divergent things. So what we want to do is we want that nice, smooth, uniform potato. If it's not nice, smooth, and uniform, it doesn't sell as a number one. And if it's not a number one, they don't get a very good price for it. Now that potato may taste just exactly like the perfect potato. You'd never know it in flavor. But when they go to process this thing and they try to make a French fry out of it, as they're cutting this thing, you know, look at how many French fries they lose as they gradient that thing out. A normal potato is going to give you maybe half again more French fries, or more, than this potato that has this growth ring in it effectively. So as far as the processors are concerned, that potato is not very economical. I can't get near as many French fries out of it. Yeah, we're going to use all these little short pieces as for the chopped up product, which doesn't have near the value. And heck, we can use any old potato for those chopped up products like a tater tot or something like that. Or these hash browns for the fast food industry, you know, that just diced potatoes. Well, we can use the culls and make diced potatoes. We want French fries, that's where our best value is, so we want to get as many nice shaped potatoes as possible to maximize our French fries. So it's a market-driven thing. And if you're in the grocery store and you go to buy a potato, are you going to buy this goofy-looking potato, or are you going to buy that nice, beautiful, round potato? Now, if it's my wife buying a potato, she's not going to buy that one. She's going to buy that one. If I'm buying the potato, I'm not going to buy that one. I'm going to buy that one, because it looks nicer. You know, the American consumer buys on sex appeal. It has to look like the classic potato, you know? And so you bet, it's got to be curvaceous, huh? But in potatoes, you know, curves are a little different than for other things. You have to have the right curve for the right product. You know, if we're buying, that's right, if we're buying other crops, you know, and it depends, gosh, it depends on the color. You know, if it's a red potato or a white potato or a brown potato skin, got a lot of different colors to choose from too. So we have to make sure those skins shape up right. That's another part of the watering process. They have to take the water off in time to harden the skins up. So those potatoes have to sit in the field for a short period of time if they're going to be fresh pack, so that the skins can set on them. They quit growing, the skins have to set up firm before they dig them. Now if they're processing them, it's not a big issue. They can grow right up to the day to get dug. And the skins, if the skins haven't set on them, they just rub off real easy. And so you go in to buy a potato in the grocery store and the skin's rubbed off of it, you probably not want to buy that one. Even though they've already peeled it for you, it's going to start deteriorating on that surface. You're going to buy the ones that have nice skins on them. And so a part of the process of watering potatoes is to know how to set the skins on those before you dig them if they're going to fresh pack. Now if they're going into processing, heck, they don't care. They're going to rub the skins off of them anyhow when they get in there with the machine. And whether they're making a potato chip or a French fry, they don't really care. They're going to rub that skin on. You know, some of those products will say skin on. Some of the different fast food chains will sell them particularly with the skin on potatoes, French fries, and so on, but they don't care if part of the skin's rubbed off. It doesn't matter. But it sure does matter in the fresh pack, the ones you buy in the store, or the ones you get in the restaurant for a baked potato. It's got to have that nice full skin on it. And so that would be the real key to growing potatoes, is to know that there are times when you want it stressed, but only at the beginning of its growth season and at the very end of its growth season. In between, we don't dare stress it, but we don't want to over pump it either. We don't want it to get too big. And also, we don't want them to get oversized. You can get potatoes that are too big. It's very easy to do. Then they're not very marketable. I mean, I've seen potatoes get that big. You know, there are a lot of big potatoes out there. Well, they're usable, absolutely, and they'll still make French fries out of those things, and they'll still tip. They may not fit through the little deal. You know how they make French fries? It's kind of neat. Go down here to Simplot and watch them. They shoot those potatoes through a grid. Some of you guys might have worked these plants. It's just a cross grid. And it's whatever size fry they want. It's wires, piano wire, just like piano wire. And boy, I tell you what, they just shoot that potato at about, I don't know, somewhere around 25 feet per second comes to mind. It's zooming when it goes through there, and it hits that grate. It's just like hitting a screen, like a bug hitting a screen and splattering right through it. Well, the potato doesn't splatter, it just comes out the other end a whole bunch of pieces. Because it hits that piano wire and just shears it into little square columns as it poops out the other end. And there's your French fry. They don't have a whole bunch of knives slicing them like this. They just shoot them right through this little grid, wire grid, and it just boops out a French fry at the other, a whole bunch of French fries at the other side. Pretty slick deal. All done in water. Transport all these things in water all the way through the plant. So those of you that get into the pumps operations down the road, some of you may end up working on pumps. You'll find there's an awful lot of pumps in a food processing plant, moving the product. And then they pump all that hot oil too. And all that hot oil gets pumped as well. That's a real specialty pump. So this industry, this irrigation industry, can take you right into the plant oftentimes. And then they take all that wastewater and they got to get rid of it. So what do they do with all that wastewater? Well, they irrigate it back out on a field somewhere. So there's another job for another irrigation person. So we got to have wastewater.